So good to meet you at our global motivational meeting. We are reading world's pictures book, These God's Words, that inspire billions of people, families, communities, countries, and the whole world. And will help you to just read these quotes and practice in your daily life. As we're reading this holy book from the beginning, please find all the chapters on the Cirpala channel. And let's see what God prepared for us today. Law and punishment. Government can enforce law to protect their citizens, restrain evildoers, and promote the general welfare. God is the origin of law. He created this universe to function according to the laws of science and implanted the conscience within each human heart to know right from wrong. The constitutions and the statutes that constitute a nation's laws approximate the heavenly law. That is why they usually are in agreement with the dictates of conscience. Laws are needed to restrain wickedness. People who do not follow the dictates of conscience, by which they ought to govern themselves to do right and avoid wickedness, are restrained by the law's sharp distinction between right and wrong, what is permitted and what is prohibited. In this sense, people who cultivate their character to become people of conscience do not need the law and are unlikely to run afoul of the law. Laws prescribe punishment as a deterrent to crime and to establish justice. The government and then meting out the punishment is a co-worker with God, who is the final dispenser of justice. Indeed, the one can regard hell as a vast prison in the spirit world to restrain evildoers from trampling on heaven's domains. Punishment can serve as indemnity and opportunity for the criminal to pay the debt of sin. On the other hand, there should always be an element of mercy in the criminal justice system. Should the criminal repent with sincerity and turn his life around? Father Moon teaches that the chief purpose of prison should be education and rehabilitation. This was, in fact, the core idea of the 20th century movement to convert prisons where inmate languished themselves into penitentiaries, where they could be rehabilitated through work and education. The two poles of justice and mercy form the perspective from which to view ethical issues such as the death penalty. The law's noble purpose. First one, when Marduk commissioned me to guide the people right to direct the land, I established the law and justice in the language of the land in order to promote the welfare of the people. The Creator protects the excellent form law. This law is the controller of the ruler. Therefore, there is nothing higher. So even a weak man hopes to defeat a stronger man through the law, as one does with the help of a king. As a ruler and president, you must in everything reverence the statute and proceed by them to the happy rule of the people. They were the reverence of king when and his caution in proceeding by them to the happy rule of the people say, if I can only attain to them. Laws are partially framed for the sake of good men, in order to instruct them how they might live on friendly terms with one another, and partly for the sake of those who refuse to be instructed there, whose spirit cannot be subdued or softened or hidden from plunging into evil. Another quote, he who renders true judgment is a co-worker with God. Let's read further quotes from the second coming Messiah, Father, Son, and Moon. What are laws? Laws exist to prevent the destruction of things that are worthy of protection. There is a natural law that protects the universe from destruction. Likewise, nations have laws to protect the society from destruction. Once we understand the purpose of laws, we can appreciate the importance of obeying them. Every country has its laws, whose purpose is to maintain goodness. After all, the nation's constitutions and the laws by it legislate function to protect the general welfare, not destroy it. What about people who violate the law? All countries have prisons to punish them, yet the standard of what is allowed and what is prohibited differ from one country to another according to the system of government and the views of its leader. A nation enacts laws to enhance a public way of life. It places restrictions on people who live only to satisfy selfish desire and desires of the body. The law sets limits on such self-centered activities. The more self-centered they are, the narrower are the limits of the law set. Human laws today are based on Roman law, and Roman law are the foundation of the world culture. However, human morals are based on the conscience. Conscience precedes law. Society needs the laws because its members seek a social order that is in agreement with their untamed conscience. In the end, where human laws have their basis the heavenly law. The law should set a bright light distinguishing right from wrong. Doesn't American law, based on its constitution, set up a standard of right and wrong? And the law does not punish people for serving the public. You can do infinite amount of public service. It is always welcome, but many kinds of self-centered activities are prohibited. Wherever you self-centered actions damage the public, that law gets in the way. Hence, using violence to harm people or destroy people is illegal. Vandalizing people's building is illegal. From the perspective when someone speaks harsh, vituperative words that hurt others, he also violates the heavenly law. Why should you obey the law of your nation? You might think that's a bad law. I know that some crooked congressman introduced the bill and got it passed, so I am not going to obey that law. I will follow my own law. Nevertheless, laws are made to preserve the freedom of the nation as a whole. And the nation's freedom is a higher good that the preference of particular individuals or groups. From this perspective, it is right to obey the law. By the same token, God's law protects the freedom and integrity of the entire universe, above and beyond the desire of any of its creatures. At the human fall, evil started first, ahead of goodness. Hence, we must make effort to suppress evil and elevate goodness. What strategy shall we use? First, we should take control over our arrogance. The fall occurred when human beings exalted themselves and pushed God aside. That was the beginning of Satan's nature. Arrogance is the desire to elevate oneself without regard to law and discipline or to how it may affect the surroundings, environment, or the social order. An arrogant person has no regard to duty of law. How do we describe a person who lives in accordance with the law? Do we say he is arrogant? And no, we say he is or she is a honest person. The Korean word of honesty, composed of the Chinese characters mean right and mean straight. The law establishes what is straight. With the law, we separate good from evil and distinguish between right and wrong. An arrogant person ignores the law. We must push us to behavior that ignores the law and violate the norms expected according to one's position, and circumstance. What will be the constitution of the kingdom of heaven? It will establish the power of love and foster the life force of love. All laws in the kingdom of heaven will be for protecting love. So powerful quotes for today. If you have difficulties, please watch one more time this video, share this video, and subscribe as we end this billions happy life subscribers marathon. Contact me for consultation, cooperation, and become a member of this Heavenly Parents Holy community globally. Receive Heavenly Kingdom citizenship right now. Contact is below. See you tomorrow with more powerful quotes and the turn on suggestion playlist. Choose the best one for you and listen God's words. Stay blessed all the day. Bye bye. Yours, Nicolae.